Hello and welcome. You're watching Voice News Network. My name is Pragya, and today, as always, I'm with Mr. Parveen Arora, and we are going to talk about real estate. But today's show is going to be a little different because we will talk about first-time home buyers. First of all, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Pragya. Thanks for having me over.
And as I mentioned, like today in this episode, we will talk about first-time home buyers. And before I get into that, I want you to tell our viewers that what is this initiative you're coming up for, especially for first-time home buyers?
For first-time home buyers, Pragya, because especially nowadays it's getting more and more difficult to buy any property because the prices are going so high, and this is a common question from first-time buyers. What we should do in this market because the prices are so high, it's beyond our reach. We cannot qualify for the higher amount of mortgages. We don't have enough down payment to buy the property. And during the last few months, we spoke with so many first-time home buyers, and then we understand exactly what they are facing in this market. So let me share some thoughts, especially what are the challenges for the first-time home buyers in this market. Number one, the first-time home buyers having the challenge for the down payment. Some of them, they don't have enough down payment to buy the property. That's number one. Number two, they don't qualify for the higher amount of mortgages because the prices are so high in the market. Let us put this way, if anybody want to buy any small house in GTA area, even a townhouse, those are close to $1 million. And if the property is close to $1 million, if you want to put even 20% down payment, that is a substantial amount, 200,000. And as a first time home buyer, it's very difficult to have 200,000 down payment. And secondly, when they don't qualify for the mortgages, then it becomes some sort of impossible for them to buy the property in GTA. And then they think, maybe the prices will come down, but the prices are not coming down. It's going up and up day by day. So they are the one, those are struggling in this market to buy the property. So we have few suggestions, especially for the first time home buyers, and I can share the process, what they should be doing in this market scenario. First of all, for the first time buyers, let's put this way, they have to see how much down payment they can have. The down payment, I mean to say the money which they already saved, and on the other hand, what they can do if they have any kind of other expenses like car payments or anything, they should try to minimize those payments because those payments also affects their mortgage qualifying. If they have a higher car payment, their mortgage qualifying also goes down. So the other thing, what we see in the last few months, there are a lot of people, they are not qualifying themselves to buy the property, but then we suggested them if 1 or 2% together buy a property, because that's the only solution we see in the market what is happening right now. So let's say if somebody has a 70,000-80,000 down payment, the other person has a 70,000-80,000 down payment, so they can buy a property together. And then this way they will qualify for the mortgage too. And the good thing is this, Pragya, in this case there is everything documented, so they don't need to worry about anything because they have their friends, they have their family. So one friend is not able to buy the house, the other one is not able to buy the house, they can work together and buy the property because the title is 50-50 on both names.
So because we are talking about first time buyers, and when you're getting into real estate for the first time, there is always a lot of fear and confusion, especially in Canada. Like for example, if I take India as example, there is always someone to guide you.
Right.
When it comes to properties, if there is nobody, your relatives will pitch in and they'll give you like 100 advice, like, what to do and what not. But here in Canada, things are different. And a person who's investing such a huge sum of money, that person is bound to get, scared. So what do you think a person should do in this case?
That's a very good question, Pragya, especially for the first time buyers. They have a lot of question about the buying process because they never did it before. I can share some thoughts on that one. What we did, Pragya, we put a book together, especially for the home buyers, what steps they need to take and what are the things they need to keep in mind when they are buying their first property. And if anyone want that book, we can send them, they can contact us, they can call us or email us, we can email them that information. On the top of that, there are so many professional realtors in the market, so they can talk to any realtor. If they need our advice or our suggestion, they can set up time and meeting with us. there is no obligation. We can share with all that information with them. And regarding the mortgage, there are so many professionals, mortgage brokers and mortgage mobile brokers with the banks, they can help them about the mortgage financing. And regarding the process, we can give the idea. But now the other question which I see, especially for the first time buyers, they are not sure in which area and where they should buy the property. Because they just see, oh, this is the lowest price, let's look on this one. And sometimes those areas are not suitable for them. For all those questions, I think they need some professional advice. They can talk to a professional realtor, so the realtor can tell them, what are the plus and minus of that area, how the prices are appreciating in that area, and if there is any challenge in that area. So the realtor can give them all that kind of information.
And because you mentioned that, people, the very first question is like, where should I buy the house? Where in GTA, for example? And in present scenarios, you've mentioned in the past as well, there is low inventory.
That's right.
There are like too many buyers, and they don't have that kind of time to think and sit on a property, because next day that property might not be there.
Right.
So what should a person do in that scenario?
I think the first preference should be, Pragya, they have to see where they are working. Because if they are working in the GTA area, then they should see how far they can commute. It depends on their family structure and their job and their business, whatever they are doing, on the basis of that. So they can see how far they can commute. That's number one. And the second thing is they have to see what is the requirement for their family, or if they are not married, if they are single. Because right now we are getting so many calls from the people who came here as a student and then they got PR and now they want to buy in real estate, they want to buy real estate, they want to invest in real estate. So all those personal preferences they have to see. And then on the basis of that, we can suggest them how much down payment they have, what kind of job they are doing, which is the best area and which is the closest good area according to their jobs. That realtor can give them a lot of information about that one.
And before we wrap up, like you mentioned that you deal with a lot of first-time home buyers. So what is that common mistake you can tell us, like, or any pattern that you're noticing among these first-time home buyers?
There are few things which the first-time home buyers are doing, the mistake which I see common in the market. First of all, number one, they don't do the exact homework about their finances. They have to see how much down payment they have, and on the top of that, how much mortgage they qualify. They have to understand that number first, right? Because sometimes what happens, they are able to qualify for the higher amount, they are not looking for the right property, and sometimes they are not able to qualify for that amount, but they are looking the property those are higher priced, right? So they have to first of all work out what's their financial limits, what price point they can go for. And the second thing is this, they need to see which area and which location is convenient for them according to their work. Sometimes they get emotional, they are working in GTA area, or they will say that's okay, even if we are getting a house cheaper in Niagara Falls, we can buy there. And later on we see they buy there, it's very difficult for them to commute there. In that case, what I will suggest, rather than buying a bigger property in Niagara Falls and commuting hour and a half daily, buy something smaller close to your work. So that way at least you are not spending that much time on commuting and every day's hassle coming to your work, right? And the other thing is this, they have, because they listen so many things from the other people. Lot of people tell them, oh, don't buy condo has a maintenance fees, that's not a good investment. Yes, condo has a maintenance fees, but rather than commuting hour and a half every day, morning, evening for 3 hours, it's better to buy a smaller property. Even that property has some maintenance fees, but there are some advantage of that maintenance fees too. You don't need to maintain the property. So these are the common mistakes what we see, especially for the first time buyers. They buy the property at the wrong locations and they don't do proper homework about their finances.
I think that is where the realtor, a good realtor, comes into picture, because then you or people like you can tell them which is the right way to go.
That's right.
Right. So before we wrap up, what is going to be your final advice to the first-time buyers?
For the first time home buyers, I would say definitely they should be talking to a professional realtor to get the best advice. What are the good options for them in this market? That's number one. And secondly, they should be also talking to a professional mortgage broker who can give them the right information about their financing, how much mortgage they can qualify. And the third thing, very important, if you are a first time buyer, try to cut down your other expenses which you can. Sometimes don't buy any expensive car, buy any the car, because car is taking you from one point to another point. Either you buy for $20,000 or you buy for $50,000 or $60,000. Definitely, if you have you want to enjoy a good car or luxury car, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but buying home, you should be having your first priority, because the cars always depreciate, houses always appreciate. So cut down your other expenses which you can and focus on buying your first property, because once you enter in the market, it will be much easier for you to buy the second property afterwards.
Yeah. I think it's a great advice. And for all the viewers, if you need any more information, you know the drill. The information is right at the bottom of your screen. You can contact Team Arora for any queries. If you're a first-time buyer or you're a seller, you know where to call. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks, Pragya.